Double tops are one of my favorite patterns that I use almost daily in the stock market, right? So if we see a double top at the right areas, at the right zone, somewhere at the top for a stock that has pushed up and up, and we see it right there, that could be a really clear indication whereby this stock might actually reverse down, right? Or get turned from an uptrend to a downtrend. So we want to seek more confirmation, right? So in this video, we'll be talking about double tops. How do we trade double tops like a pro, right? What does it mean by double top, right? We explain on a diagram before we look at some live case studies. And of course, we look at some of the mistakes not to make when you are looking at double top or when you are taking a trade with regards to double top, right? So if you're interested in how to use double top as a trading strategy or as a pattern, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, because in this video, I will share with you everything that you need to know about double top and how do you actually create a trade plan from double top, right? When you do see a good double top pattern. All right, let's get started. So let's talk about the meaning of a double top. What exactly is a double top, right? So let me just go to draw it for you using this brush right here. So for example, we have prices that moves up and up and up, right? And it has pushed up. You've seen this stock pushing higher and higher, and you have kind of hit a little bit of a barrier whereby sellers are coming back, right? So you might start to push up, down, up, right over here, and we hit like the first resistance level, all right? So that is a sign whereby sellers are coming back, all right? But at the point in time when we see this, right, it doesn't really show a double top because this is only like the first time it hit the resistance and comes back down. So you might start to see a little bit of retracement, all right? And people might start to come back in to bargain hunt again, price start to rebound, and it starts to hit to this same resistance level, all right? A level whereby there are a lot of sellers, and sellers comes back and start pushing back down again, right? So that is the first sign of what we call a double top. This is what we call a double top. Let me just go to draw it for you. For example, this is like the first top, all right, and this is like the second top. And we can also draw in terms of this line right over here, we can change it to red in color because that's what we call a resistance level. So we see an area whereby it touches 2 times, right? So double top just means 2 times. It can be a triple top as well, whereby if prices were to hit to that level 3 times, it comes back down. That could be a triple top, right? So when we see a double top right here, like for example, it touches, it comes back down, it touches, it comes back down, it can show that this resistance level, right, this horizontal price level is kind of like a resistance level. So when can a trade be taken? When we get more confirmation of a double top, right? So as it consolidates, we can draw another support line. Let me just change this to green in color right here. We can draw like a horizontal support line right here, all right, as it consolidates. So you can see prices kind of like pushing up, comes back down, it rebounds from the support, it goes up, and we start to sell down again, right? So the key here is this, right? If we do see prices, right, pushing down, 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 and lower, all right, and eventually we kind of push lower and lower, lower, all right, and we kind of break this support level right here. So if we break this support level here, that is a level whereby we can say that this double top is forming in terms of a reversal from the upwards direction to the downwards direction. That's a point whereby we break this support level because we are seeing a double top here, and we break this support level, right? So this is like probably a green line here, all right? If we break this support level, that could be a double top formation happening, whereby the selling can actually happen, all right? So we can actually take what we call like a short positions here, all right here to ride the downside, all right, when we spot like a double top, right? So we won't wait for like kind of like a firm breakdown, all right? We want to wait for a firm breakdown of this double top, of this support level, all right, of this support level before we want to take a trade. That means we want to see kind of like a close below that support level on strong volume. That is a sign whereby this double top pattern has formed completely, all right? So for example, let's say one of the key mistakes that people make would be like, if prices were to hit to here, hit to maybe around here in the center, and people think that it is a double top, but not necessarily, right? So we want to make sure that we break that key support level, So for example, we can just draw this line right here. This is like a green line. Let me just put it a bit clearer for you. So let's just remove this, right? So for example, we want to break this like support level here before confirming the double top. For example, if it kind of like hits to right here, it might actually come down, 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 and it might start to rebound back up again. It might go up, down, it might start to consolidate. So only when we break this support level, then we can confirm that, yeah, I mean, this is like a double top pattern that's formed, and we break a support level, that's where we can potentially see more downside. But if we are still holding above this support level, we can actually, rebound from it again right here, and we can start to consolidate. So in fact, here could be a good level to actually start thinking about buying, especially if this is an uptrending stock. So if this is an uptrending stock in a very, very strong long-term uptrend, all right, then in fact, there could be a good opportunity to catch any rebound back up, right? Could be a good opportunity to catch any rebound back up because it's an uptrend. The support will most likely hold. All right, let me just go to remove this resistance level and draw kind of like a horizontal line right here. So it's like a resistance level, all right? So we might start to consolidate here. So we can actually see a rebound from this support level as well, especially if it's an uptrend, right? But the key here is this, as I say, right? When there are some signs of the trend turning, right? When some signs of the trend turning and we break this support level, that is where we can kind of like confirm that this is a double top pattern, right? The first top, the second top, right? So this is like the first top, right? First and the second top that is formed and a potential reversal happening. So when we break this and the trend has kind of like turned in terms of like the moving averages, and we start to form like lower highs, for example, it starts to consolidate, it might move up, down, and start to push lower again, up, down. Then we can see that we're forming like lower highs in this case, right? So this is like the high from the double top right here, number 1, number 2, and there's another high right here, number 3, number 4, number 5. So you can see as we form like lower highs, it can kind of like show that there is a potential reversal based on this double top pattern, whereby the trend might have turned from like an upwards to a bit of consolidation, right? This can be a few months, can be a few weeks as well, few months, all right? It's not like a 1 or 2 days thing, right? So it can be a few months at least, right? And then that's where we see like a double top pattern, and eventually it breaks the support and it forms lower high. So that's a sign of more selling actually happening, right? It might go up, now it consolidate again, and start to push lower again. That's exactly what can happen if we do see a double top, right? So if we see a double top, right, the mistake that most people will make is that most people will assume that it is a double top before it even happens. So as I say right here, at this point in time, when we come approach the number 2, all right, it doesn't really show that it's a double top yet, because it can actually reverse back down, and then we might start to see a little bit of a rebound. So only when we were to break this key support level that has been holding many times, all right, so double top would mean like 2 times, but in terms of the support, it can be 2 or 3 or 4 times as well. So you've been holding many times, the more times it is, the stronger the support level. But if it does break this support, take note that that's where we get a confirmation of this double top kind of like playing out in terms of the downside. So we want to wait for kind of like a firm confirmation if prices were to close below this level on really strong volume, to wait for the confirmation. Because if you kind of like second guess and think that it will break down, but it might not, right? It might actually just rebound from here. So if you kind of like shorted somewhere around here, because it comes down. So if you kind of like take a short position somewhere around here as it is like moving down, right, as it's like heading down, thinking that it will break this, for example, maybe you take a short positions right here at the support because you think that it might break the support level, all right, because you think that, because it's a double top, that's where we might break this support, that's where I want to take a short positions here. But what happens is it can actually rebound from these levels I talk about, because that is where buyers can actually come back. That's actually a good support zone. We can go to draw this zone. This is actually kind of like a good support zone whereby buyers are actually coming back and can actually rebound. So we want to wait for a clear confirmation on the support breaking down before we can confirm that this double top has completely formed. So the next way we can kind of like trade a double top would be somewhere around number 2. Alright, so number 2 is where, as I say, we are seeing a resistance level. So as prices were to hit there, as we approach that level, that's where selling can actually happen again, because number 1 is where we touched it the first time, it came down. So as we approach number 2, alright, same thing, we can actually break the 2, alright, number 2, the point number 2, whereby we can break the resistance and hit higher. So if we do see like some bearish candlestick right here, for example, if we see something like a shooting star, right? Something like a shooting star whereby there's like a long upper shadow, all right? So forgive me for drawing something like this, but this is something like a shooting star. So we see like a shooting star whereby there's a long upper shadow, whereby buyers kind of like took prices up in the morning, but sellers came back and pushed it all the way back down, kind of like close below this price level as well. That could be a good indication of sellers actually coming back and a potential reversal back down, right? Back down to that support level. Okay, so that's the second way whereby you can trade like a double top, right? So not really, I mean, to wait for a completion of it, but somewhere around the top, if we do see like some bearish candle here, that's where we can see a potential retracement. Okay, so let's take a look at this chart right here and see if we can find any double top, right, pattern and what has happened and how we could actually take a trade based on this potential double top pattern that happened. All right, so we can go in to draw what we call a support line right here. So this is something like a resistance line turn support. Let me just draw it for you. You can see this is where we have been like consolidating below, so it's a bit of a resistance, right? Touch came down, and finally we broke this resistance level and prices started to push up. So just in fact, look at this right here. So most people might think that this is like a double top pattern, because at this point in time you can see, guys, that we kind of like touch, we came down, we touch, came down. So this could be like the third time that we touch and might actually come back down again, which can actually happen. But as I say, we want to wait for more confirmation for any reversal. So this like 1, 2, 3, so this could be like a triple top pattern, right? This could be a triple top pattern with support being at about like 170, right? So we can, let me just wait to draw it for you. So we might actually like move up, down, up, down, up. So right over here, if we were to like reverse back down, right? If we were to reverse back down and eventually break this support level right here. So this is something like a support level, right? Like what I've shown just now. So if we break this support level, I mean, in this case, this is like a triple top, right? But let's assume it's a double top, right? Because we have 2 points whereby it touches and comes back down. But we want to wait for this confirmation. So if we break this support level, then we can confirm that this is pretty much a reversal in terms of a triple top or a double top. But in this case, you can see that as we're right here, we break this resistance level. So just take note, right? For a double top, for a triple top as well, we want to wait for more confirmation of that support level actually breaking, of this support level actually breaking before confirming that it is pretty much a reversal to the downside. So more often than not, right? More often than not, each time it touches, it might just goes back, it might retrace back down to the support, and buyers might actually come back again. So we want to make sure we wait for some really good, indication of the trend turning. Because if you're just thinking that because you see a triple top and it hasn't really played out yet, and you just assume that it will come all the way down, more often than not, it's not the case. It can actually push higher, it can break the resistance, and it can actually start to push higher like what we see, and that's where prices can actually go even higher. So you can see we start to consolidate here as we play out, and you can see this is a support level around the $220, and this is like a little bit of a resistance level. As you can see, we went all the way up and we came back down. So this is a good support somewhere around the 220 to 230. I think that would be a good support level. We can draw what we call kind of like a support zone in this range from 220 all the way to maybe about $230, right? 230 level, right? So you can see as we play out right here, this is a support zone, and we have kind of like headed to this level, and we kind of found a bit of a resistance, right? So at this point in time, we can draw this resistance level right here, and that would be about the $310. I would say that 300 would be a very, very firm resistance level. Why? Because we kind of like saw this candle right here. This is something like a doji right at the top, whereby we got long upper and long lower shadow as we hit to that resistance level, and we have broke down the doji day right here and went all the way down to this support zone at 220, right? So that is where if we approach this 310 or 300 level again, sellers can actually come back, right? So something like a double top. So this is like the first top, all right? This is like the first top right over here, all right? First top whereby we touched, we came back down, all right? So at this point in time, right, as we move and move and move right here, we wouldn't know that it is a double top. For example, price is about 268, right? All we know that as we push higher and higher and higher and higher, we might see selling in this zone right here around the 310 or 300, right? So you can see it's about 302 as we approach, and then look at this right here. So as we we were consolidating slightly above 300 for a while, and you can see we broke the 300 level. It's like 296, right? And that's where you can see sellers are coming back. So that would be some sort of like a second top, like something like a second top, a double top, right? So at this point in time, then we can confirm, all right, that this is a double top formation, all right, just happening. You can see that's where we started to touch a few more times and we started to sell down from it. So that is a confirmation whereby there's a double top, but as I say, we can take like a short positions here, all right, to ride the downside. We can actually take a short position ride the downside because potentially we can hit lower, all right, to back to this support zone to catch a rebound again. So that is pretty much like the downside move that can happen all the way back down, right? But the key here is, has the double top pattern actually formed up yet? Is it sure? I mean, are we firm or confirmed that the double top pattern has played out and we are actually seeing more downside at this point in time? The answer is no, because we are still above this support level, which is about 220, right? So we want to wait for prices. Okay, look at this, right? So we want to wait for prices to break this key support level from the 220 to 230, right? So look at this right here. So as it breaks this level right here, as it breaks the support level at 220, okay, then yes, that I would say would be kind of like a confirmation that this double top pattern has played out, has formed up, and that's where a potential short positions can be taken to ride the downside all the way down, maybe to the next support level like I've drawn here, right? That would be somewhere around the 170 level. So that's where potential downside targets could have been drawn. All right, you might head down, we might see a little bit of a rebound. Let me just go to draw it for you. So actually, break this level, it might go down, it might retrace back up a bit, go down, up, start to consolidate here, right? That's actually what could have happened. All right, but eventually you can see that we broke this 170 level as well. So it started to break down again and we broke this level. So that's like another point whereby we broke the support and another sign of more weakness to come, because we have formed what we call lower highs, right? Lower highs. So this is like the double top highs, 1, 2, all right, and we broke here, so it's like 3, all right, we broke again, so it's number 4, all right. So as we hit lower and lower, all right, you can see that as we hit lower and lower and we form like a lower high, that is where it's not a good thing. You can show that the trend has pretty much reversed and this double top pattern has kind of like played out. So you can see this is where prices are as of now. We went down and we're like 105, so 100 might be a good psychological support level. You can see this is where we have been holding, right, since 2019, right? So this is like a good support level, about $100. So can this 100 support level actually break down? It's possible, right? But we might see some bargain hunting coming, because you can see it was a really good support, rebounded many times for the 100, but at this point in time, because the double top pattern has already played out and we are in a downtrend and we are forming like lower highs, we can also draw what we call a downward sloping. I mean, of course, this is based on this the diagram that I've drawn, but we can actually draw a downward sloping channel resistance lines based on these lower highs, right? So if it continue to stay below this channel resistance line, that is where it is like a downtrend, right? You don't want to think about buying, all right? Especially if the 100 were to break down. So okay, let me just look at prices here, and let's just assume that we head down, all right, and put this in red in color. So we might head down, we might see a little bit of rebound from the 100, right? Push up a little bit, consolidate, and eventually we may break the 100 to actually push lower to be about $60 to $80. That is where more selling can actually happen, right? And that's just because we saw this double top pattern forming, right? This double top pattern forming, whereby I got the first top, the second top, we got a confirmation of it breaking this 220 support level, and that's where it actually started to reverse back down, right, to kind of like trade lower and lower, and that's when the downtrend happened. Okay, so I believe I've come to the end of this video and I have kind of like given you a case study of what is a double top pattern, right, and what are some of the things to look out for, right? So firstly, you want to draw your resistance line, your support line, that is key, all right, and you want to focus on levels whereby a lot of points are touching. So if there are 2 points touching, that's what we call a double top. If it's a triple top, then we can actually have another point whereby prices rebound, it comes back down. That's where we have 3 points of it touching the resistance level. But the key here is this, as I say, we want to wait for a clear confirmation of this double top or a triple top forming if that support level will to break down. Because if you assume that it will break down and it doesn't, and then you take a short position here, that is where you might get caught out. You might start to you might start to see a little bit of rebound. If you don't have a stop loss, that's where you will be riding on losses. So you want to wait for a clear breakdown, all right, clear breakdown of the support level. For example, right here, let me just go to remove this. So let's go to think about how we can form a plan right here. So for example, if it does break this support level, all right, we can actually form up a plan to take a short positions because we have got some confirmation on the double top pattern forming, all right. So we can kind of like draw this like a short positions right here. So let me just click on this. All right, so the downside reward, as I say, could be all the way to maybe about the next resistance level, about the 170, and your kind of like stop loss level. Because of course, when you take a short position to ride the downside, you want the prices to go down, but there's a possibility it might actually reverse and break above this new, all right, this new resistance level. So that's like a red line. So from a green support, it comes to resistance. That is where it might break above again. So you want to protect it as well. So in case you were to break above, you want to have some allowance, or in case it pushes back up, you want to get out maybe about 225, 229, 228, just in case it comes back out, you want to get out, right? But in terms of the downside reward, that is where we can actually head to. So the reward to risk ratio is about 3.31. As you can see over here, in terms of a double top pattern playing out, it breaks the support, and that's where you could take like a short positions with a stop loss as well, just above this new resistance level. Okay, so that's how you can trade a double top, right? So key takeaway here is don't make the mistake of assuming that it will break the support, because most of the time, right, if the trend is strong, right, we look at the longer term trend, it's been moving up for many years, and you know, it could be just a temporary pullback, it might hit to the support and it might rebound back up, right? So the top pattern may not actually complete, and it may not actually break the support level. So we have not really talked too much about like trend, in terms of the trend turning from an up or sideways to a downtrend, but let's just assume the trend has turned, right? For example, looking at the moving averages, the trend has kind of like turned, and we see this double top pattern playing out right here as it breaks the support level. Then that's a sign whereby, you know, it's a higher chance of riding the downside, because we get two confirmation of a double top and also the trend turning down from the moving averages. So that's a very good sign of more downside to come. And that's where, if you're holding on to positions, you're bought around here or somewhere around here, and you got in somewhere around here and it breaks the support and you're still holding on to long positions, then you want to take steps to get out, to kind of like, you know, just cut your losses and get out, all right, because you don't want to be holding it all the way down like what we see over here. You can see it went from like about 220 to about 105 in just a couple of months. So that's where you want to get out, especially if the trend is turning and the double top pattern has played out, right? Instead, get out, right? Cut the losses, all right? Look at taking you know, short positions to ride the downside instead of just holding on to your long positions all the way down, and that's where your losses will be huge. Okay guys, so I think there we have it. We have covered pretty much on double tops, right? How to trade double tops like a pro. I hope that after going through this whole entire video, you know what is a double top, what to look out for, and you know, if you like this video guys, I would appreciate if you can give me a thumbs up. It will definitely help out the channel, and thank you so much for doing it. And of course, smash the subscribe button as well. Smash the subscribe button, right, so that you will not miss out on any videos like this that we share, right? And yeah, give me a like as well. It will definitely help out the channel, right? So Joey here, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments below what is your biggest takeaway on this video about double tops, right? Let me know what's your biggest takeaway. Have you learned something? What should we take note of when we're looking at the double top pattern as well? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to reply each and every one of you, right? So Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video.